Good afternoon. I'm Dan DeRose with 19 News Now, coming to you from our digital desk. I'm the bearer of bad news, unfortunately, when it comes to the pain at the pump. A pretty sizable jump in the national average for a gallon of gasoline yesterday went up 5.3 cents. That's one of the biggest rate hikes or one of the biggest single day jumps in quite a few months. I'm going to show you a chart here. This is from our friends at Gas Buddy. This is what here in Cleveland, what we've been paying for a gallon of gas over the past year. So are the gas prices the worst we've ever seen? No, not yet. You can see a year ago we were paying about $4.06 a gallon. But you can see if you look all the way then to the right, we've got that pretty sizable increase in the last just 2 weeks. Up to now just under $3.44 a gallon. Now, we often report on gas prices going up and down. We at Channel 19 like to do a good job of hopefully getting you an answer as to why, and that's what we're going to do today. We're bringing in our good friend Patrick DeHaan from Gas Buddy. Patrick, good to have you. I wish it was under better circumstances.
Yeah, you and I both, but prices unfortunately starting to go back up. It's been a pretty quiet summer thus far, with prices kind of bouncing around in the mid $3 range, and then suddenly oil prices within the last couple of days have shot up to their highest level since April. That, combined with some of this tremendous heat down in Texas and Louisiana, has impacted refineries at a time of year that gasoline demand generally is at its highest in late July. In addition, gasoline inventories are now at their lowest July levels since 2015. So there's a lot causing prices to go up.
So let's talk about them maybe separately. Let's talk about why is the heat, and we've been covering this extensively, the heat bubble over parts of the South. What is it about the heat that is causing problems for refineries in Louisiana and Texas?
Well, just like probably you and I, 110-degree heat doesn't really cooperate. We can't stay outside too long. We don't want to do too much work because we'll sweat bullets. But refineries may not have those characteristics, but they're also sensitive to extremely high temperatures. Some of the equipment is outside. In fact, all of refineries are exposed to these outdoor elements. And so the tremendous heat can cause things like power outages, even if they're momentary. That can take several days to bounce back from. Equipment failures can happen. And we've seen that now at several refineries, especially in Texas and Louisiana, whether it's power disruptions or heat-related equipment failures have caused some shutdowns of gasoline-producing units. And again, this is happening at the peak of gasoline consumption for the year. Gasoline inventories are also at their lowest levels in July since 2015. So all of that then combined with OPEC's recent production cuts and the end of releases from the nation's Strategic Petroleum Reserve, certainly a psychological shift here. Instead of SPR barrels flowing into the market, now the administration is actually starting to refill the reserve. So we've seen a lot of tightness in markets exacerbated by the refining situation now, and all of that's come to a head and pushing prices up.
Let's talk about the price of crude oil. $100 a barrel is kind of one of those sort of benchmarks. Anything when we see it dropping below $100, that's generally an indication that prices are going to drop. Whenever we see prices start to creep towards that $100 barrel, that's when prices go up. We had as low as $66 a barrel earlier this, I believe it was in either June or July. It's now crept up to about $77 a barrel. Explain to us why the price of crude oil has such a handle on what we pay at the pump.
Well, gasoline, the primary ingredient is crude oil. And so the global price of crude oil is the biggest component to what you pay at the pump. That means that the price of crude oil suddenly goes up by, in this case, $13 to $15 a barrel. You're going to feel it at the pump. And then it's exacerbated by those refinery outages as well on top of that have impacted the supply of gasoline. So almost a double whammy here. And we're not done yet. In fact, hurricane season, the peak of hurricane season, really starts in late August. That runs through late September. And with the record temperatures we've been seeing in the South, that's also translating into very, very high temperatures for water. Water temperatures in Florida in some instances have crept up close to 100 degrees. That's going to provide a lot of potential fuel to any major hurricanes or storms. And so that could further disrupt gas prices. Keep in mind, half of the nation's refining capacity exists in Texas and Louisiana. areas that are very close to the Gulf of Mexico. And so, should a major hurricane target those areas, that could further impact how much refineries can refine.
Yeah, boy, just looking at, not to use a pun, but kind of a perfect storm in a lot of situations here. Patrick, as we showed on our chart a year ago, we were over $4 a gallon. Give us sort of a forecast. Is it possible that we could see that happen again?
I think it's possible, but I think we'd have to get one of those major hurricanes, the perfect storm, for us to get over that $4 a gallon mark, especially in Cleveland, which tends to be a bit above, a bit below the national average. And for comparison's sake, today Cleveland at about 341, the national average at about 365. So you're about 24 cents below the national average. So I don't think Cleveland will get there. But again, if there's a major refinery outage, say in Toledo, or if there's a major category 4 or 5 hurricane in the Gulf of Mexico, we could get there. But I'm hopeful that if we did, it would be temporary.
We're not only all in the same boat, but the same vehicle when it comes to that. Patrick DeHaan, petroleum analyst with GasBuddy. We certainly appreciate the time. I'm going to let you have the final word here. How should people be using GasBuddy.com to try and save money?
Well, Dan, whether you're hitting the road or not, whether you cross out of Ohio and head into Pennsylvania, you're going to notice that gas prices are really all over the map. I always say shop around before you fill your tank up. That could save you several dollars on every tank, especially if you're taking a longer road trip. You're going to see prices that are all over the map. There's no better way to avoid those higher prices than to shop around for the lower price stations.
And GasBuddy has a tremendous map showing what prices are all over the country. Patrick, we certainly appreciate the time. Thanks for keeping us informed yet again.
Thanks, Dan.
All right, take care, sir. Again, just wanted to bring you the reason behind gas prices. That's what we do here. We don't just throw out that there's prices are rising. We like to give you why. The answers that you're asking at home, the answer you're asking every time you pull into a gas station, why are prices going up? Hopefully the information from Patrick DeHaan at GasBuddy may not help at the pump, but at least it serves as an answer. If we have any other breaking news, we're going to bring it to you here on our digital properties. Until then, I'm Dan DeRose with 19 News Now. Have a great afternoon.
19 News is everywhere. Download our CTV apps and follow us on social media.